Well, good morning. Well, what is it? It's not morning, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies. We are at the Becoming Circle, and I am going to um, start our meeting. Got done eating. So tonight's lesson is called What You Tolerate. Um, what you tolerate is what continues. So whatever you continue to do, it's because you tolerate it, things that happen. All right, so sharing my screen. This is where we're at. All right. I'm messing up. I don't know what's happening. Hold on. Okay, there it is. All right. All right. So the lesson that came to me was what you tolerate is what continues. The silent agreement keeping your life the same. I have said over and over again that I am not going to continue to do the same thing on a different year, at a different month, at a different time. So when change happens, it really shifts your mindset. It shifts how you move. It shifts your friendships. It shifts so many things in your life because you've made this declaration to say that I will no longer continue to tolerate the silent agreements in my life to keep me in the same space. Last week we had talked about being in the quicksand where you're just sitting in this quicksand, and the analogy that spirit showed me was like the quicksand is there, but you're sitting on the side of the of like on a just in the wilderness watching the quicksand. You're not even in the quicksand, but you have this silent agreement that says that if I leave this space, I'm not going to make it, but I'll just sit and watch the quicksand. I've gotten out of the quicksand because we've gotten free within the past 4 years. You've gotten free, but then you just keep watching the same thing over and over again. So tolerance is not patience, it is permission. Okay. So you're giving yourself and your life permission. Okay. This is a reframe that changes everything. We've been taught that tolerance is virtue. Um, and it goes back to, I remember growing up, over time, we had stayed in our house probably like 16, 17 years when we were growing up, and we had a neighbor that was across the street, and this neighbor came, and she was a wife, and her husband did so many things to her, and the way she tolerated his behavior, she tolerated um, the cheating and the doing the things, but she was a woman of God. So when we talk about the virtue, when we hear Proverbs 31:10, a virtuous woman, a woman of noble character. Her character was so noble that she just tolerated this behavior, and they're still married to this day. Um, and in many contexts, it is, but there's a specific kind of tolerance, the kind that lives in silence. So we tolerate things in silence, and we don't say anything because we don't want to ruffle feathers. We don't want to cause arguments. We don't want to leave the 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 um, the quicksand. We want to just sit and watch it. Although we're not in it, we don't want to leave it because we feel that if we leave it, it's going to require change. But in the silence, we're just watching things do just sink and keep us in that stuck mentality. So it's in the avoidance. You've avoided things. You don't say anything. And it's oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. That isn't grace. It's a green light for people to continue to do you the way you've been doing. You've been done. Every time you let something pass without naming it, you didn't just avoid conflict, you taught someone or something what you will accept. You set the floor, and now they're living on it. They are just there living the life because you've allowed this person to be the way that they are. You've accepted the bad behavior. You have accepted the way people talk to you. You tolerate, well, it's like if you're in a relationship, you really don't love the person, you just tolerate them in this silent mode of how they treat you because you haven't spoken up to tell them, hey, I don't like that. That's not okay for me. What you tolerate teaches people how to treat you. Lessons learned. So, what's the difference? Patience is waiting with purpose. What you're working towards and why. Tolerance is the kind that stalls you, is waiting with no exit, no expectation, no standard. It's hoping things change. Well, I hope, I've been in those relationships where I hope he changes. 15 years of my life wasted, 16 wasted because I'm hoping that this person is going to change while doing nothing, while not speaking up for myself, while not saying the things that I won't tolerate, while not setting a standard for myself, just allowing this person to be the way they are to me. Okay. Um, it's hoping things will change while doing nothing that would require them to change. You have done nothing. You stay in the same stagnant place, watching the quicksand. Your life is not just a reflection of what you desire, it's a reflection of what you tolerate, what you allow, what you excuse, what you ignore, what you keep going back to. I always had to figure what was the draw. What's the draw that keeps me going back to this person? What's the draw that keeps me going back to doing the habit? What's the draw that keeps me going back to the behavior? Okay. And what you make space for. If you can make space to go and hang out, you can make space to go and sit and read a book. If you can, that time that you're spending doing something that's inactive, or it's not producing anything, or it's not getting you where, what you're making space for is what you tolerate. Because every time you tolerate something, you silently agree to experience it again and again and again and again. 15 years I tolerated such bad behavior, disrespect from, people, just not doing anything, like the lack of validity for myself. I tolerated it for years. Hope is not a boundary. Wishing is not a standard. And silence is not agreement with yourself. It's agreement with whatever is happening to you. You are sitting there allowing this behavior and this pattern to happen to you. There's a saying that says it happens for you, not to you. Okay. God has a plan. You need to wait. You need to wait and you need to trust. You need to pray, wait, and trust. Those are the things that you need to do. Pray, wait, and trust. Because sometimes what we do is we pray or we pray and we wait, but then we don't trust. Or we pray and then we trust, but we don't wait. So it's the three combinations is it's what we do. Tolerance is an agreement and what it looks like really in your real life. This this is where it gets personal. Okay, we're going to walk you through what tolerating without responding actually teaches in relationships, in self-talk, and environments. Let's make it real. Okay. Most of us think tolerance means I'm being patient, being understanding, I'm giving grace. But lots of times, tolerance is silent permission, permission for disrespect, permission for inconsistency, permission for emotional unavailability, permission for overwork, permission for burnout, for confusion, being overlooked, being underpaid, and being last. Okay. Over the past 16 years before we moved to this place, it was a constant level of just I tolerated. I tolerated my children because I'm their mother. And I just felt like, oh, well, it's just whatever. But it was this silent thing that I was doing, giving them permission to be disrespectful, giving them permission to be inconsistent with me, being um giving them permission to um overlook when I say to do a thing, giving them permission to do what they want, when they want, how they want. Same thing with the my daughter's dad. Just being unemotionally available, giving them the permission to do it. Okay. You are living the life you tolerate. Whatever you're living right now is the life that you tolerate. You tolerate it. Everything that is going on, you are literally setting the standard and you tolerate it. My mama didn't tolerate a lot when we were growing up. My little brother and I were having that conversation. No disrespect, no inconsistency. There is nothing she didn't tolerate. Okay. What you tolerate, what it continues to say out loud to those that are in the vicinity. Okay. What it says is letting people interrupt, dismiss, or talk over you without saying anything. My voice is optional. I don't require respect. Accepting less, less credit, less opportunity without pushing back. That says I am worth the minimum they offer, the bottom of the barrel. I'm just the bottom of the barrel. I'm just worth the bottom of the barrel. You keep accepting these bare minimum relationships. You're just scraping the bottom of the barrel. And I used to tell people like I have clients, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and it's like you're trying to get what's underneath your nails. Like, oh, I'm worth that much. Okay. Staying in the dynamic that drains you because it's familiar. The quicksand. Although you're not in it, it's such a familiar place that what you're saying is, I'm comfortable with the pain. Okay. The comfortable pain is better than the uncertain freedom. I'd rather sit here and watch this quicksand rather than go into the uncertainty of my freedom. Rather than get up and walk away, I'd rather just sit here and endure and tolerate this quicksand. And then the crazy thing is that you'll dress it up. You'll put little flowers behind it, like, oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love it. You'll build a life around the uncomfortable pain. That's a message in itself. Rather than you get up and build a life of freedom, you'd rather build a life around the uncomfortable thing. So when we look at the children of Israel, this is where it kind of got me to, is the children of Israel. When they were free, remember they were telling Moses, like, Moses, you brought us out here. We'd rather go back and be slaves than to be out here. Walking in that uncomfortable pain is better than to be in the uncertain freedom. Don't know what freedom's going to look like on the other side. All they knew is Moses got us out here and now we finna die. Okay. So they thought. And so they'd rather just go back, and they said, we would rather be slaves than to be out here. Okay. Allowing your inner critic to run the narrative and never challenge it. You tell yourself that that voice is right. I trust it more than I trust myself. So that inner voice could be telling you that why try? Why apply for the job? Why, quit your job? Why do the thing? Why go and do your business? Why go and, build a relationship? Why go the distance in this relationship? Because it's saying that voice is telling you it's right, because that is your nervous system telling you, yeah, we'll work with that, right? Rather than the voice saying, I need to get up and move, you trust the voice inside of you that says, let's just stay here. And it was just like the children of Israel. They'd rather just go and stay in the stagnant place rather than excel and level up. And then it became when they were free, they're looking at Moses like, okay, Moses, like, what are you doing? And they're leaning on this one person. And Moses is like, listen, God has given you the things. There's a scripture, I can't remember, it's Genesis, where they were the manna. And God had told Moses, I'm going to test them. I'm going to put down manna. You tell them, giving them the instructions, you tell them to take for the 6 days. You take for 6 days. On the sixth day, you take double, because on the seventh day, nothing's going to be there. Okay. But what they thought was the voice is right. You had people getting up on the seventh day going to look for something that wasn't there. It's the same as when Noah built the ark. And we're in I want to say chapter 11. and Noah builds the ark. And now all of a sudden the Tower of Babel comes. And because these people were so comfortable with the life that they were living, they said, well, we'll just stay here and we'll just build this tower and we're going to build it up to heaven because we got to see God. We got to build it to the heavens. God was like, oh, okay, well, let me come down and see what you're building. Okay. The most dangerous agreements are the ones you never made out loud. It's the silent ones. Okay. The silent contracts that we have signed in our subconscious mind. We have subconsciously signed these contracts and these agreements that says, I'll never be anything. I'm never going to make it. My business is never going to be successful. I'm never going to have a relationship. I'll just stay single because it's better for me to stay single than to be in a relationship. Or, I'll just keep living paycheck to paycheck, or I'm never going to have anything, or it's always this is happening to me. So it's that silent agreement that you subconsciously say that this is what it is. It's the ones that live in what you didn't say, you didn't do, you didn't require. Those are the ones that are running your life because you keep allowing people just to keep running over you. And having to make that declaration for myself, it was, I want to say November of 2025 when I decided I was not going into 2026 with the same mentality that I had all my life, moving up to this current moment. Had I changed some things? Yes, I've changed some parts of my life, but I made a vow that I was not going to go into the same thing. Sitting here dealing with this man that just was so disrespectful, utterly disrespectful. I mean, utterly disrespectful. And internally, it made me feel a certain kind of way, but I was silent and I didn't say anything. And I didn't say anything because I knew if I said something, it's going to cause an argument. The volcano's going to erupt. He's going to give me his shoulders. He's going to, raise his voice. He's going to hyperventilate. It's going to be all of the things. And I don't want to deal with that. Okay. But it was running my life to the degree that because I didn't say anything, it was just this constant thing. And it just drew me back. I had to figure out what was the draw. Nothing. There was no draw. I mean, did we have a good time together? Yeah, we'd hang out, do whatever. But at the same time, internally, I didn't like the way it made me feel. So now it's time for us to fight back. Okay. We stay in the agreement and why it's not weakness. Why we stay in the agreement. Sorry, I can read. I can. Why we stay in the agreement and why it's not weakness. We tolerate what we don't want. So now we go deeper. This is where you have to get honest with yourself. We tolerate things because we don't want the conflict. Absolutely. I just said it. I tolerated a lot of behaviors and disrespect because I just didn't want the argument, because I knew I didn't want the conflict. I didn't want to, lose the friendship. I didn't want to lose what I thought was going to happen. I didn't want to do that. You don't want to lose the people. You don't want to lose the job. You don't want to lose um, the space that you're in. You're afraid of change. We tolerate things because we don't want to change. I don't want to get up from this. I like looking at the quicksand. It's a pretty place. And then because you like it so much, you put the pretty flowers around it, wondering why they're dying. But you're just like, oh, and then you keep going to replenish the pretty flowers. But instead of just getting up and going to a different type of soil that's going to allow you to live and flourish, okay? You tolerate it because you're used to it. You're used to people letting you down. Hence the reason why you probably don't ask for help. You're used to people telling you no. Hence the reason why you don't ask for help. You're used to people turning their back on you or giving you bare minimum. Okay. You're used to it. So that's the reason why you don't do a lot of things and why you tolerate a lot of behaviors from people. We think, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it's not that bad. But internally, your body is telling you it is that bad. It absolutely is that bad. When you start losing hair, start losing weight, when you start losing your mental focus, it is that bad. Okay. You don't feel that you're worthy of better. Okay. Hey, Miss Tara. Um, so you don't feel that you're worthy of better. So you just tolerate bad behaviors. You tolerate what people say to you. Okay. You tolerate just looking at this quicksand and people like you just sit and you just tolerate because you feel like you're not worthy enough to get up and build something better. We tolerate it because we don't trust ourselves to choose differently because I don't know how. And I feel like if I choose something differently, it's going to be the same. And this is the reason why a lot of women don't get in relationships because they choose to be in these situations and they put themselves in these places. And so they put themselves in these situations, and these situations they don't know how to choose differently. And so they're choosing differently means that I have to, it's going to be the same. So a lot of people don't get in relationships. Why? Because they feel like if I do it, it's going to be the same as what I had before. And so rather than change it, I'll just tolerate it. Powerful message right there in itself. Rather than change the behavior, I'll just tolerate what's happening.
Mm.
I'll just keep going. It's okay. I'll tolerate it. And your body is literally telling you, no, we're not going to tolerate that anymore. You start losing your hair, you start going through, you start not wanting to eat better. Um, but you tolerate it. I remember I was with my third daughter's dad, and we had this massive argument because I was just at the point where didn't want to tolerate it. And so when I'd start speaking up for myself, we, get into these conflicts or whatever, and he would just say things. And we had stopped talking to each other. And I remember I was in the dark. I wasn't eating, I wasn't doing anything. And it was because I felt like he was all there was. I
Mm.
needed him so bad. And because I did it, I tolerated my body to get, I think I gained like, I think probably 10 pounds. And I was like at 140 something back in my early days. But I could feel the weight. Just carrying the weight of tolerance made me gain weight. Your body speaks to you all the time. You start losing your hair, you start losing, all of the things. Okay. There's a statistic that says Black women who endorsed the view that they need to be the strong Black woman reported receiving less emotional support from friends and family while reporting higher levels of psychological distress.
Mm.
So crazy.
Yeah. So true.
So true.
Yep. So
And
true.
when my dad passed away, I remember I was like, I don't want to be strong anymore. I was at work and we were on a call, and it was like I can't remember, it was some kind of thing. It was a work thing, and it was like a kind of like what we're doing now, like a lesson. And they were just talking about, being strong and things like that. And I just started weeping on the phone because I don't want to be strong. I want to be able to grieve. I want to be able to feel it. I want to be able to move with it. I want to be able to miss my dad. I want to be able to miss my mom. I want to be able to miss my brother. I want to miss my auntie. I've gone to all these services, but I just had to be strong because I'm looking at everybody else being weak. So I feel like I have to wear I got to be strong for everybody else. I got to be strong for my kids. I got to be strong for my grandkids. And it was just like that day, I was like, I don't want to do it. And I was like weeping because I was like, I don't want to be the strong person anymore. I just don't want to do it. So, one thing that we have learned as Black women, as women in general, we were trained to, um, many of us were raised to be agreeable, accommodating, low maintenance. Well, my mom had me high maintenance, but um, to not be too much. That training didn't disappear when we became adults, it became our default. Don't be too much, be modest, cover up, don't say nothing, shut your mouth. Okay. Be quiet. We confused our loyalty with losing ourselves. We stayed because we care. We tolerate things because we care. But caring for someone doesn't mean swallowing yourself. Love doesn't require your silence. Okay. It's about communication. Change felt more dangerous than the pain. It's just like the children of Israel. The change felt to them more dangerous than them actually moving into freedom. So they complained, well, you got us out here, Tarina, and you got us doing all these things, and you got us journaling, you got us writing, and you got us meditating and praying. Well, that. I'd rather stay in the pain than to move into something that's going to free me. Okay. At least we knew what to expect and where we were. The unknown on the other side of a boundary felt like a bigger risk than the family ache. It is so crazy when you start changing your character, your speech, your boundaries, start setting boundaries. People will be like, "Oh my God, she is tripping. She no, she didn't." And then they'll start talking about you like, "Oh, no, no, she didn't." So we didn't know what we were allowed to require more. Nobody told us. And if they did, we didn't believe it, that it applied to us. I remember my oldest two daughters' mother, grandmother used to tell me that she loved me. And I'd be like, lady, knock it off. Okay. Because I never heard that. I'd never heard the words I love you or, that you deserve so much better or things like that. There were times that my mom would just, be laying into me and I'd be sitting on the phone. And I remember their grandmother used to tell me, you can hang up the phone. In the moment, I'm tolerating my mother's behavior because she was my mom, right? And I was trained to be at her beck and call and trained to be submissive to her and the ideology of um the what was the scripture that she used on me? It was the voice, like you don't disrespect, being disrespectful to your child or your mother or something like that. Parents should obey their children should obey their parents or whatever. And I was like, but it also says don't provoke your children to wrath. And so here you are in my face and you're giving me the blues, right? But I'm tolerating it. And I never forget, without her, and I'm thankful that I met her because that was the part of my freedom. Because I remember I was just listening on the phone and she was like, you can hang up the phone. Like, you don't have to sit there and listen to that. And it was like this ache that she had for me to tell me, Tarina, you don't have to listen to that. But at the same time, now I realize she can't want that more than what I wanted it. Although she wanted me to be free from it, it's like she couldn't want it more. So there was just a level of tolerance that we had. Sometimes it's not that you don't know better. It's that choosing better requires a disruption. It requires the moment of tower. The tower moment, things have to crumble and fall. And you have to go through this moment of change. And oh my gosh, it feels chaotic. I can only imagine what the children of Israel felt like when they go into this new place and now they have to change. They have to listen to a voice rather than just do what they normally did. They have to listen to one man tell them, God said, we have to follow the commandments. We have to listen to this one man tell us, hey, go out there on 6 days, gather up all the thing. On the seventh day, gather double because, on the seventh day, there's not going to be nothing. That's the day of rest. It requires us to really disrupt how what we have allowed for so many years. So here's what I need you to hear. You didn't tolerate things because something was wrong with you. You tolerated things because you were doing the best you could with what you knew. But you know more now. And knowing more means that you are responsible for something different, and that is accountability. Okay. Now you're being held accountable for your life, not anybody else's, for yours. All right. How to break the contract, the silent contract that we have signed in our subconscious mind. Okay. I remember signing the contract, my mother, my dad, just all of the things without blowing up your life because sometimes we try to do the generational curses break and then everything just falls apart. Okay. Tolerance keeps you stuck more than fear. This is the shift. Fear may stop you temporarily, but tolerance keeps you in the cycle, doing the same thing with the same person at a different time, at a different year, at a different moment, going to the same job, same thing, same issues, same thing. You're tolerating things, going for 20 some odd years just so you can retire. Um, It keeps you in this cycle. And I realized that I was going to work Tuesday. And so trash days here are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think. Anyway, so I went outside and it just reminded me there's a movie about it. And it's like everybody's in this robotic state. You put your trash out on Monday, you put your trash out on Tuesday, you put your trash out on Wednesday. It's like this repetitive cycle. And it's like, gosh, I want things to change. And when I saw the trash cans out Monday, I was just like, this is the life. This is it. Right? We do this every week. It's the same thing, just a different week in a different month. But I'm still putting out the trash on Wednesday. And then every other Wednesday it's recycling. But it's the same thing. I'm paying the water bill. I'm paying the light bill. I'm paying the internet. I'm just it's just this recycle, this cycle. And I said the other day, I was like, God, I am so tired of waiting for payday. I really am. That cycle. We tolerate the cycle because we don't know better. Sorry, I heard noses. Because every time you say it's okay when it's not, I'll deal with it later. It's not a big deal. You extend the life of the problem. I'm going to say that again. Every time you say it's okay when it's not, I'll deal with it later. It's not a big deal. You extend the life of the problem. You just prolong it another year, another moment. There's a woman on TikTok who she's like cleaning. And so she's like, help me, watch me clean a drawer that I've been putting off for 3 years. And she's like, it took me 20 minutes to clean a drawer that I have prolonged the life of for 3 years. 20 minutes. Takes 2.2 seconds for you to do something differently. Takes you the gumption to say, I will not tolerate that. The Bible tells us to speak the truth in love. So when we speak the truth, give it to a person in love. Got to learn how to say things to people. Because I know sometimes we've tolerated things so much, we end up blowing up like the volcano just rah! And rather than you say it in a way that says, you know what, I think it's just best that you and I part the Red Sea. You go your way, I go mine, right? Breaking the agreement doesn't always mean a big dramatic conversation. Just said that. It's not like we have to go back and forth tit for tat. Sometimes it just starts with one internal shift that says, I'm no longer going to pretend that this is okay. I am no longer going to pretend that what this person is saying to me is okay. I am no longer going to pretend that this person didn't just say what they just said to me. There's no way that I could have. And I'm listening to it and I'm thinking, there is no way. And I said it in November, there is no way that I'm going to continue to sit here and think that this is all right, because it's not. That's it. That's all. First clause. And I said it. I said what I said. That's it. I'm not going back and forth with anybody. I'm not about to argue with you. I made my point when I said what I said to you the first time. Okay. Now there's that saying that says, I can show you better than I can tell you. That's pretty much what you got to tell people now. Okay. I skipped past that and you didn't see it. Okay. You have to be ready. I love this quote. It says you have to be ready to break generational curses, even if the people who pass them down don't support you. You have to be ready to break the generational curses, no matter who gave it to you. Mama, grandmama, granddaddy, daddy, grandpa, whoever it was. You got to be ready to do it. Okay. So there's 3 moves on how to break the generational curse. Okay. Name it privately first. And what I call that is the name game. And I gave that to you guys a couple of years ago. The name game. I remember God had me sit down and he was like, just write down all these names. Just every name that came to my head, he was like, just write them down. They were people from high school. They were people that from my jobs. He just write them down. And he says, write them down and then I will tell you what they did. He was like, because there are some things that people did to you unconsciously that you weren't even aware of they were doing it. Okay. Before you can set a boundary externally, you have to stop lying to yourself internally. It's not okay that people talk to you the way they talk to you. It is not okay that people treat you the way they treat you. It is not okay. And the thing about it is internally we know it. We can feel it. You can feel it. Okay. What are you pretending that is fine that's in it? That isn't. Name it. I had to name the people. Okay. Write it down, say it out loud in your car if you have to. I don't care where you say it, in your home, in your private place, whatever. Bring it into the light inside of yourself. You have to tell yourself that is not okay. Okay. I didn't get this far by just like, oh, okay. Change your response, not your feeling. I remember I used to say things to my kids. I used to tell them, I'm not going to apologize for what I said, but I'm going to apologize for how I said it. Because sometimes the way you say a thing can set a person and trigger a person into the conflict. Okay. And now you got to learn how to say it. Feelings without action don't break arguments, they just make that you resentful. Okay. Feel it. And I tell my kids now, feel it, but now you got to work on how you're going to deliver how you're feeling to me or to anybody for that matter, because you could feel it. And then your feelings may cause, like I said this in the cognitive dissonance, where I say something to you, your cognitive dissonance shuts off. And then you go into this mode of you want to attack, you want to get disrespectful, you want to give me your shoulders, you want to start talking back, you want to get disrespectful. It's not that. I'm not here to argue with you, not at this age. Okay. Um, so a new response, even a small one, sends a new signal. It tells the person, okay, keep doing, just make sure you're clear on what you're doing. You don't have to overhaul everything. It's like you don't have to go in and be like, I'm doing this. Just one small action will make a person probably pause. I just did that to my daughter. Remember in The Color Purple when the dinner, it was the Thanksgiving dinner and she just went off on him. And he went outside and he was about to hit her, raise his hand, and she did the fingers. And it made him pause. That one action made him stop because she told him, everything you did to me, gonna be done to you, already done to you. But it was the action that made him really just pause. Okay. You just have to respond differently once and then again and again. Okay. So if you got to put your hand up at people like, nah, do the three, stop it, knock it off, right? Um, expect disruption and don't let it be the evidence where you were wrong. When you shift, people will notice. When you start changing your tone, start changing your body language, start changing the conversation, lowering your tone. I'm not arguing. I'm not here to yell at you. I'm not here to do anything. Um, I'm learning to be like, shut up, Tarina. I have to tell myself, shut up, Tarina. Certain things I'm not, that I would love to say in my pettiness. Shut up, Tarina. Okay. Um, some will resist, some will push back. That's not the proof that your boundary was wrong. It is proof that the old agreement was very uncomfortable for everyone except you. Hold the line, hold it, and just keep doing what you're doing. Do it again and again. Set the boundary. Okay. All right. You're breaking generational curses. It's different. This is a different thing. Okay. You are breaking all of the things that we have tolerated in our life. When we look at now with Black women, the misogyny, the patriarchy, a lot of us are going now, and we're just like, listen, I don't care what you say. I'm not tolerating what grandma tolerated. Grandma tolerated you to be out here being disrespectful and being a man that had, multiple women. I'm not tolerating that. We're just not. All right. So here's a reflection exercise that I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Um, these are the five questions. Um, something I've been tolerating that I know isn't aligned is number two, I tell myself it's okay because they were my kids, they're my kids. What is actually what it's actually costing me is my mental, my emotional freedom, my peace. The truth that I've been avoiding is that I think it's like I kind of go back on my word. If I stop tolerating this, my next step would be, you know, putting you in a shelter. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. But all right, so I'm going to give you 10 minutes. I don't know where you are, but I'm going to go ahead and give you 10 minutes on the clock. If you don't like it or not. Don't tell me. Don't tell. Okay. All right, it's happening. It's happening. I'll help you. What do you mean for? I'll help you. Oh. I'm sorry. My bad. Sorry. You wanna go? We're gonna walk. You gonna call. Sure. You gotta go. You're there. Here. Come on. That's what you want. You ready? One foot in front of the other. Stand up.
Come on. Go. Okay, very good. Keep going. Not backwards, forward. Good. Don't sit. Keep going. Yep. Keep going. Yep. Come on. Keep going. Don't be distracted. Come on. Go. Go. That's it. Good. Good. That's it. Good. Good, girl. Yeah. Yeah. Take care. Hi. Hi. Yeah, fun is there. You ready? Come on. Come, let's go. Hi, baby. Look already, Lisa. Look how I look. Oh, you got to go to PD's house. No, but look. Mine is coming off. But look. Why would you take PD? Because we like the white coat. He likes all white like white coat. Huh? All red like white coat. Know that. Oh. Wow, tell me that. That is good. Just this. Where you going next? How long did you go to sleep? I didn't get a sleep. Oh, you didn't go to sleep. I'm trying to go. You staying up at home with your I gave them her log, the last of her log, the people come out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right, you got 4 minutes left. All right. That's your 10 minutes. Were you able to do that or no?
Oh, you can't even hear me. Can you hear me now? I'm
I can
sorry.
now. Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay.
So, I've been tolerating. So something I've been tolerating is my mother saying belittling and unkind words, comments to me pretty much all my life. I tell myself it's okay because she's my mother. It is costing me my self-worth, my value, and confidence. The truth is, I have accepted that this is just who she is, and she's just not the mother that I would desire to have, but this is just who she is. What was my last one? That was my truth. Um, if I stop tolerating this, my next step would be for me to mother myself and nurture myself, to love myself, and learn how to love and value myself and put myself first.
Because when you have to do that, like me doing that for myself
A
that's
lot
what
of
got
work.
me here. Yeah, it's a lot of work to mother yourself because you have to figure out what do you need. Um,
Mhm.
how would a mother talk to me? How would I want my mother to talk to me? How would I want my mother to make me feel? Um, how would I want my mother to show up for me? Like when business is happening and I'm doing the conferences or the workshops and things like that, like how would I want my mother to show up for me? So I have to show up in that capacity for myself. Um, because it was costing me how I parented my children. So it was costing me the effect of what it was having. It was costing me my peace, and it was costing me the way I parented my children, like how my
Mhm.
children were growing up. Um, and I used to tell myself it was okay because, like, of course, she's my mom. Like, that's my mom, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and so me, because I stopped tolerating it, the next step for me was to grow up and stop depending on her.
Hmm.
Like that was the thing that I had to do. So the next question is I've been tolerating blank and I'm ready to change it by doing what? Like, or by a certain date. Um, so what's something I've been tolerating? Let's see. For me, I've been tolerating living paycheck to paycheck. Oh man, I've been tolerating it. And I'm ready to change it by working my business, by doing the work, not just having the idea and putting it on paper, but actually the thing that I'm putting on paper now, I'm actually doing, by doing workshops. Is it scary? Hell yeah, um, because not everybody is going to be supportive. Not everybody is going to show up for me. I know. But it's things that I have to do, and I have to network and reach and outreach to different people and not staying in the same muddy waters of this quicksand of people who really don't care, but getting out there and doing something different for myself. So, all right. Well,
Well,
I
for
think
me,
you're, oh, go
I've been,
ahead.
am I on mute? Okay.
No, I hear
I've been,
you.
okay. I've been tolerating putting up with obstacles. Um,
Oh,
and I'm ready to change it by living intentionally and planning with intentions
yeah.
and executing with intention.
And speaking the intentions.
Yes.
Very good.
Do you know who I've been listening to this week?
Who?
Reverend Ike.
I love him. Now, crazy, um, not to interrupt you, but my grandma used to listen to him.
I remember my mom didn't really listen to him, but I remember like seeing him on like commercials.
No, I remember she used to have this the stereo, and it was like on the legs, and you could put the record play, but it had the stereo incorporated, and you'd hear Reverend Ike, Box
Mm.
1000.
I've been listening to him this week in reference to money.
Hmm.
Phenomenal. He was way before his time.
Yes, he was. And the
He
crazy thing, I don't remember hearing that part, but he would just be in the background, and you would hear after the service was over, you'd hear, something, 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 if you want something. And all I remember was Reverend Ike, Box 1000.
Oh wow, you remember the address.
Yeah, my
Mm.
grandma, I remember she used to listen to him.
He's like, and they're like the original. I've been watching him on YouTube,
Hmm.
and it's just been phenomenal. And it's so true. Like everything that we've awakened to now, he was
Hmm.
talking about that years
Years
ago.
ago. Years. And
He
it's
would
so,
cuss in a minute in the pulpit and be like, "All y'all saints." Like I listened to one yet today that was like, "The problem with you is that y'all give a damn about what other people think of you." He said, "You're never going to manifest like that. You can't live a fulfilled life like that.
hmm.
You have to live your life according to what you want." Oh, it was
And
good.
yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
All right. So we got private truth telling. We got some journaling. This is for you later. It'll be recorded so you'll be able to see it.
Okay.
This is between you and you. They got nothing to do with me. Okay. No performance, no presentation. This is just you being honest. So you're going to pick a prompt that makes you a little uncomfortable. Okay. That's the right one. Okay.
I'm gonna take
So
a shot.
there's the contract, the cost, the advice I won't take for myself, um, the new clause, and the fear underneath. Um, the contract is, if I'm honest with myself, one thing I've been tolerating in a relationship, at work, or inside my own head is, and I've kept tolerating it because the cost is, what has staying in this silent agreement actually cost me? What have I
Mm.
not done, not said, not become because of what I keep accepting? The advice I won't take for myself. If my best friend described this situation to me exactly as it is, what would I tell her to do? Why am I willing to say it to her, but not to myself?
Wow.
The new clause. One thing I am no longer willing to accept as normal in my life is paycheck to paycheck. Golly. Starting this week, I will respond differently by continuing to post my business. The fear underneath. The reason I haven't changed this yet, if I strip away every excuse, is, and what I want to say to that fear is, these are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
These are awesome. I'm like, these are awesome. Um, all right, let's move on to the next. I think that's it. All right, so you can build your own. All right, so this is your bridge. It's like the lie that you've accepted, and then the bridge in between, and then there's the truth. Okay, and then what that looks like is this: I have to keep the peace even when it costs me. The bridge, what can I believe today? I'm allowed to have needs even if others are uncomfortable. And your truth is where you're headed. My peace is up for non-negotiation. No, not negotiation. My peace is non-negotiable. That's a non-negotiable for me. Here's some more. If I set boundaries, I'll lose people I love. I've always said that. I was like, if I set the boundaries, my kids are gonna hate me. The people who are meant for me can handle my honesty. And the full
That's
truth
so
is,
good.
yeah, the full truth. Boundaries don't push the right people away. They reveal who was really never for me, was never really for me. Um, Needing things makes me a burden. The bridge, the in between is having needs is human. I am allowed to communicate minds. The full truth is my needs are valid. Expressing them is an act of self-respect. Respecting yourself to say, I need some help, right? I need some help or I'm lonely. Like I've said it. Like I'm lonely. It's easier to keep the peace than to rock the boat. Oh my gosh. Okay. Keeping false peace is costing me something real. My
Mm.
truth creates the conditions for real peace, not a performance. Golly. Um, I've tolerated this so long, it's too late to change. I felt that way. I felt like I had tolerated the behavior for so long that I was just like, well, it's just if I, try to change it, it's not gonna be worth it. But I can begin responding differently today, even if the pattern is old. Okay. And then here's the truth. Every new response I give is a renegotiation. It's never too late to rewrite the contract. It's like this is not up for negotiation. Okay. So you can write your own. My lie, what I've been accepting, your bridge, the truer thing I can believe right now is, and your full truth is the woman I'm becoming knows that she don't have to live paycheck to paycheck because she's talented.
Mm-mm. Yes, she is
Okay.
amazingly talented.
Thank you. All
Yeah.
right. Here's the closing. Your life doesn't change when you want better. It changes when you stop making space for what isn't. Your life is currently calibrated to what you have accepted. And when I think about a calibration, I think about a vehicle. My dad used to calibrate our car. So when you'd start it up, remember when it would used to shake, my
Yep.
stepdad. And so he would go out and he'd calibrate it to where things were running smoothly. That's a powerful message in itself. So right now we've calibrated the the friction, right? We've calibrated ourselves to have the friction. And I used to remember my mom used to her day would just not go great until there was some kind of confusion. Her day did not go well until there was something that happened. She could like it just she set the day, right? Um and so in every relationship, every dynamic, every pattern in your home, your workplace, your own mind, it is all to the temperament of what you've been willing to live with. If we keep living with the rule, and not calibrated to say, I need things to run smoothly. And what the thing about my stepdad is like, he taught me, like, you got to go in, you got to do this, spray this, and calibrate it. And, the timing's off, right? He used to say the timing, but the calibration. So it was like that thing where you run things smoothly, right? But here's what's also true. Calibration can change. It absolutely can because I have witnessed it. You can change the calibration in a car and make it run as smoothly as you possibly can. The moment you require something different from others, from yourself, from the spaces you occupy, the whole system has to recalibrate. What you're doing in your home right now is you're recalibrating the whole system where you're saying, oh, I'm not cooking for everybody. I'm just cooking for me. Recalibrating.
Yep.
I'm not going out buying for them. I'm buying for myself. Recalibrating. When you go
Mhm.
out and you say, I'm saving money to go and buy an outfit, recalibrating. You're recalibrating the whole system. It doesn't happen overnight. And I know it takes time. So we've been doing this, like I said, 4 years. And so in 4 years, we've changed the way we think. We changed the way we speak. We changed the way we dress. We changed the way we show up, right? But it starts the second you stop signing the silent contract. The moment you say, I will no longer sign this contract that my mother has made me sign, is the moment you say, there's a recalibration. And that it's like when I think about the woman with the issue of blood, we've had issues for so many years, so many issues, so many years, right? And the moment we said, if I could just touch the part of the hem of his garment, if I could touch a part of the word, I'll be made whole. And once we do that, like the wholeness comes. So I need you to ask yourself tonight, not as an accusation, but as an invitation. What have you been tolerating? What have I been tolerating that I would never advise my daughter, my sister, my best friend to accept? I'm going to say it again. What have I been tolerating that I would never advise my daughter, my sister, my best friend to accept? Whatever just came to your mind, that's where your work begins. It is time to renegotiate, and this time you set the terms. You are setting the terms. All right. Closing declaration. Say it out loud.
I'm no
I
longer, oh.
Go ahead. I am no
I am
longer
no longer
signing
signing
contracts
contracts in
in
silence.
silence. I am no longer
No
calling
longer
tolerance
calling
strength
strength
when it is
when it is
costing me
costing
peace.
me peace.
I am
I
allowed to
am allowed
require
to require
more
more from
from
others,
others, from myself,
from myself,
from the
from
life
the
I am
life
building.
I am building.
Mm.
What I
What I
tolerate,
tolerate is what
what
continues.
continues. So today,
Today, I
I
choose to
choose
tolerate
to
less
tolerate less.
and require
Require
everything
everything I
I
was
was
created
created to have.
for.
The renegotiation
It starts.
starts now.
That's good.
Well, all right, madam. I'm going to
Dope,
stop
love.
sharing my screen.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to talk about anything before we go, or are you good?
Oh, Albert told me to tell you hello. I did want to tell you that.
Oh, tell him I said hello and